The Trap Assassin is probably the easiest character to take through hell in Diablo 2. With tons of trap damage and a large life pool, let's see if I can make it through this playthrough with 0 deaths. Spoiler? I probably can't.
They'll never see me coming.
The beginning is pretty standard fare. Kill monsters in Bloodmore and get to level 2. Once I did, I put a point into Fire Blast. Throughout the playthrough, I will be staying at traps in, however, I will be switching up the skills a little bit. In the beginning, I am going to be speccing into Wake of Fire for a couple of reasons. A, it is only required level 12 and it receives synergy damage from Fire Blast, which I'll be putting points into till level 11. And B, because it does damage. Like, a lot of damage. I cleared the den and made my way to Bloodraven. This quest can be tricky early on and is where my first druid had its first death last mini playthrough. But, like I said, the assassin is a lot less fragile with a larger life pool. Damaging Bloodraven is the tricky part here, since she loves to keep goofing around and not give you a clear shot till you stand in the pocket with her. And by doing so, I was able to kill her. I escaped the underground passage and reached level 6 in the Dark Wood, upon which I put a point into Burst of Speed. This gives me faster run walk, increased attack speed, which, if you did not know, is what governs the rate at which you throw traps, and not faster cast rate. Generally, I like to put 5 points into Burst of Speed from level 6 to 11, after which I get Wake of Fire. I reached level 5 of the Forgotten Tower and killed the Countess's minions. She herself is fire enchanted and therefore my fire traps won't do much damage to her. Conveniently, I found gas potions from one of her minions and used them to kill her instead. I did this a couple more times to farm runes that I needed. Tyr and Ral to build a leaf staff, which gives me +3 to fire skills to increase my trap damage, and Tal Eth to build stealth, which gives me faster run walk, hit recovery, and potentially cast rate, which will be helpful when I'll be teleporting later. I decided to get the hammer right now, but I'll be doing something different for my imbues with this character. I'll save all 3 up and imbue 3 claws when I'm higher level to potentially get some useful plus skill bonuses. Killing Andariel is really easy for a maggot like me. I do tons of fire damage and she has -50 fire resistance. Simple math, ladies and gentlemen, the big bad lady goes down. Locked chests can be opened without a key by the assassin, and by doing so in the maggot lair, I got an L rune.
I can't carry anymore.
Thanks to getting that L rune, I was able to build the steel rune word, Tier L. All this gives me is 25 increased attack speed, which allows me to throw 1 trap every 9 frames, which is the best frame that you can possibly get. Due to a tier rune, it also offers 2 to mana after kill, but since traps are seen by the game as minions and not spells, that stat is useless for my purposes. For the Duriel fight, I decided to use a trick that I had learned about recently. If you move along the wall in this certain manner, you can essentially trap Duriel in one position. I guess I can say that I'm the first person to ever bug a bug. I mean, I know that there are speedrunners who have done this before, but I'm pretty sure none of them were stupid enough to say that statement, so I guess it counts. Anyways, the benefit of this position is that I can attack Duriel without any interruptions, till I, of course, myself misclicked and got out. Duriel's health at this point was pretty low anyways, so I didn't bother trapping him again and killed him in the open. Jumping from one act boss to the other because the rest of Act 3 was boring without highlights. To kill Mephisto here, I took a page from the book of the Blizzard Sorceress and decided to cheese Mephisto. This basically means that I drew Mephisto close to that one edge and stood on the platform opposite to it. Now I can damage him with my spells, but since I'm out of his range, he can't interrupt my attacks. Notice how I'm only throwing 2 Wake of Fire traps and then following up with Fire Blast. This ensures maximum damage on a single target that isn't all that mobile. Not to mention, it also helps me save mana and kills Mephista quickly. I got to the Chaos and started working on the 3 lesser evils, or mini-bosses. Infector was up first, and he in general can be a pain. This is because his monster type is naturally resistant to fire, so what that means is that he will take less damage from my fire traps than other monsters. But with a Sin, you have the ability to lay a trap and keep moving forward, which is what I did and dragged Infector closer to death size where he finally died. The rest too were easy to kill, with Grand Vizier requiring a Merc's assistance. In the fight with Diablo, I used the principle to lay down 2 Wake of Fire traps and then follow up with Fire Blasts. This potentially could be a little risky, since when you're throwing Fire Blasts, you are stationary, giving Diablo a chance to catch you in one of his Lightning Hose attacks, but quite honestly, it's not that bad, provided you have a couple of Rejuvenation Potions handy. Fight wasn't that long and Diablo went down easy.
A hero's mistake is finally corrected. I can't carry anymore.
Looking for Baal? Well, yes, that is what you do in Act 5 after killing Nilithak, which turned out to be pretty worthy for me since a random monster dropped me Sanders Riprap. Boots with 40 faster run walk, 10 to dexterity, and 5 to strength. GG. Ancients were pretty easy as well. I hired a mercenary so that the 3 bros will attack him, and attack him they did, if that's correct English.
I can't.
They absolutely mauled my poor buddy, but it's fine, quite honestly. In normal, Ancients aren't nearly as dangerous as they can be in the late difficulties, and do go down fast. Madoc was the first to fall down, followed by Talik, weirdly enough, because he's the one who's supposed to be fire resistant of the 3. I guess Korlik was leaping and had more air time so the traps couldn't damage him. I don't know, man. They're dead, okay? Let's move on. Baal waves were pretty easy to kill except for the Lister pack, and more than anything, Lister himself. I think the fact that he was spectral makes him resistant to elemental damage. Whatever it was, I bailed on him and teleported to Baal. The LOD himself can be a seriously annoying kill. Right in the beginning he cloned himself, which is always the best thing that you can ever hope for. Next he used that super annoying cold damage wave thing a lot. This hurts the assassin since laying traps are based on attack speed, which gets slowed down every time you're frozen, so that's not fun. Not to mention his mana burn attack and those god-awful appendages. It was a little long and a little brutal, but by killing Baal, I officially made it out of normal without any death. One baby step at a time. In Nightmare Act 1, I have to hit up the Countess a few times, for which I have set up my gear a specific way. Check it out. 26 fire, 1 to strength gloves, 8 lightning resistance ring, 6 fire resistant belt, 19 cold resistant ring, and 9 light resistant amulet. Now for the fun part. This circlet with 30 faster run walk that I found off of Baal, stealth with an additional 25 faster run walk, Zephyr Bow with 25 faster run walk as well, and Sanders Riprap with 40 faster run walk. That, my friends, is 120 faster run walk plus 42% that I get from burst of speed. Now, of course, you can get more faster run walk than this by using Frenzy or whatever, but considering that this is Act 1 Nightmare, this is pretty cool. Not to mention pretty fast and super useful while running the Countess. I built my standard rune words in Nightmare. Rhyme with cannot be frozen and 25 all resistances, both mods which are extremely helpful, and Lore Helmet, which gives +1 to all skills and 30 lightning resistance. Super Saiyan level faster run walk. It's been fun.
I can't.
Nightmare Andy was fun because much like her normal counterpart, she was pretty easy to take down. I felt that maybe the Druid's Fissure takes her down a little faster than the Assassin's Wake of Fire, but honestly, they're both pretty fast. After dying, she ended up dropping me Rare Blade Talents which give +1 to assassin skills. I guess I'll keep them for when I respec into Lightning, as they'll give me more damage and attack speed. I reached level 35 in Act 2 and decided to shop at Drognon for a Lore Resist wand. Since the assassin deals elemental damage, the Lore Resist curse proves to be super helpful, since you can buy it as charges on a wand. The reason I'm shopping for this at level 35 is because the wand itself requires level 36 to use. As you may know, items that you can't equip in Diablo 2 are shown with the red background. Therefore, while checking, I only have to look for wands with a red background, and with enough persistence, I was able to find one which wasn't all that expensive either. Neato. Maybe after buying this wand, I should have considered using it against someone like, I don't know, Duriel, but honestly, I had my mind stuck on getting him stuck so much that it completely crossed my mind. Or it didn't cross my mind, you get the idea. This time I got him stuck, my assassin was out of range for his Holy Freeze to strike, so I decided to do damage from this position. For some reason or the other though, once I got his HP down to very low, I couldn't kill him while he was in that stuck state. I had to move around a little before he finally died. Possibly could be a side effect of the bug, or so it seems. Killing Battlemate Serena was easy, even though she did sneak up behind on me and curse me with amplified damage. I managed to dodge disaster. Quite honestly, when you're this good, can you really blame the monsters? And of course, right after I say that, this ended up happening to me. I teleported into a pack of champion birds and got stuck. I tried teleporting but to no avail, and yeah. I could have easily avoided that by saving and quitting or just popping a rejuvenation for the traps to kick in, and shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's one death. It's stupid, but it's still one death. Speaking of death, Sentry is one skill that I'm going to be getting after this respec. I decided to put in stat points first. Since my claws require the most strength and dexterity, I put them in according to those. Rest of the points go to vitality. For my skills, I am going to be going down the trap tree and putting points into lightning and death sentry. For shadow disciplines, it is still going to be 5 in burst of speed. One additional skill that I'm going to be getting is Mind Blast, which is useful for survivability and also for having fun. Trust me, you haven't used it till you've used it. Mephista is the one who gets to be the first victim of my newest build. The plan of the attack is pretty straightforward. Lay down 5 lightning sentries, which is the maximum amount you can do at a time, cast Lower Resist, and follow up with Shockweb as it has the most damage other than your 2 main traps due to synergies. As you can still see, I'm still cheesing him and staying on the other side, even though I don't have to. I can probably tank a couple of his hits, but since that disaster, I don't want to take any more risks and get any more deaths. Target 1, down. One skill that I didn't get to show off in that Mephista fight that you can see in action in this easy fight is Death Sentry. This might be the greatest skill of all time. It fires lightning and explodes corpses, and it does both auto-magically. Albeit its damage is a little less than the Necromancer's skill of Corpse Explosion, but it still causes a fraction of the monster's health and physical and fire damage. There's no skill like it, except, for the real Corpse Explosion, but you get the idea. Clearing up Nightmare CS is pretty easy because there are no lightning immunes in it yet. Due to an abundance of monsters, you get an abundance of corpses, so you can clear it up pretty fast using lightning and death sentries in tandem. Diablo, on the other hand, doesn't get to taste the sweetness of the gift that keeps on giving, that is corpse explosion, because all the corpses disappear as soon as he is summoned. But that's fine. Lightning Sentry does a lot of damage on the maximum side and takes care of him just fine. Not to mention the lower resist wand does help out here a lot, making the fight a lot quicker and smoother. There are a lot of ways to go about the Nightmare Ancients fight, and I took the most straightforward / boring approach. I laid down 5 lightning sentries in the middle of the circle thingy, cast lower resist on all 3, and just tried to run around and dodge attacks, while letting traps do their job. Talik went down first, followed by Korlik since he was able to dodge attacks, and finally Maddox since he is the most resistant to lightning. God, I wish you could explode trophies with corpse explosion as well. Such a waste of undead flesh. Killing the Lister wave is now possible in Nightmare because the lightning traps do a lot more damage. Also, not to mention corpse explosion from Death Sentry. You really get to appreciate what a powerful skill that is in this fight, because as soon as 1 minion of destruction goes down, it's like a train let loose after that. As you can see, I also had to deal with lightning immune souls in the throne room, but for right now I just kept them at bay using Mind Blast. The Bale fight is pretty chill. All I had to do was cast lower resist on him and then lay down 5 lightning sentries close to him, and they did the rest of the damage. He himself was dealing a lot of damage to me, but it wasn't as bad as normal, since now I had the Rhyme Shield with Cannot Be Frozen, and therefore I didn't have to worry about his Cold Wave spell as much. He didn't drop me anything that tickled my fancy just yet. Hopefully, that can be rectified in the magic find runs I'm going to be doing after this. The first good thing I found while magic finding was this rare circlet with FHR, some really nice resistances on it. It's not the best thing, especially considering that my assassin is a little too girly to take advantage of the +1 to barbarian skills, but I'll keep it under consideration. Next up, I found Duriel's Shell with plus defense, life, some resistances, and cannot be frozen on it. This is an interesting armor to say the least, since it will allow me to ditch my Rhyme Shield and maybe go dual claw if I choose to. If not, this can go on my mercenary. You know, the mercenary that I never use. Yeah. Next find was Alto's Advance, some really nice pair of boots with 40 faster run walk, 50 to life, 44 fire resistance, and 10% damage taken goes to mana, but with a very steep 95 strength requirement. They may be viable if I find claws that require similar strength, so I'll keep them for now. Next up, Mephisto dropped me Guillaume's Face with Crushing Blow on it. Boy, this game really wants me to get a mercenary, huh? And if that wasn't enough, Bale dropped me a freaking Shaft Stop with 30 damage reduction. Yeah, I get it, mercenaries are great, but can we calm down for a second here and give me something that my assassin can use herself? Golly. Unfortunately, the answer to that was no, as all my assassin got after this were 3 deaths. First to some souls in the throne room, next to a bunch of Oblivion Knights, and then to lightning immune archers in hell pits. After this crazy magic find journey, I went to hell and completed a couple quests, collected a few items, and I'm ready to show them to you right now. First, I'm using dual res gloves with 24 lightning resistance and 21 fire resistance on them. I would love some 20 increased attack speed gloves with a bit of res on them, but haven't been able to find those. this ring with 5 all resistances and 17 cold resistance, this dual resistant shark skin belt with 29 cold and 29 lightning resistance, ring with 26 fire resistance, still using sanders because I prefer them due to their bonuses to both dexterity and strength which I require to wear my claws, still using rhyme for that increased block rate, cannot be frozen and 25 odd resistances, this really nice amulet that I found with 18 odd resistances and 38 lightning resistance, also +1 to barbarian skills because why not? For my headgear I am wearing this coronet that I gambled from Anya with 3 to traps on it. That's basically the only reason I'm using it. I mean, as if that wasn't reason enough. For my armor, I was thankful that Hell Countess dropped me a Lem rune before I passed out due to sleep deprivation, and I was able to build Treachery, 2 to assassin skills, 45 increased attack speed, and chance to cast Fade, which is the shadow discipline I will be switching to in Hell from burst of speed. Finally, the Greater Talons with 3 to Lightning Sentry and 1 to Mind Blast. My attack speed is maxed with 1 attack per 9 frames, but it does drop down to 13 when I'm under Decrepify. That is why I would prefer finding those 20 increased attack speed gloves that I talked about before. My charms all consist of life, mana, and resistances. And my res overall without Fade isn't bad either. Of course, when Fade kicks in, everything is maxed with poison sitting at 25. For my build, the only tree I have put points into is traps. I'm not using burst of speed. Fade I'm getting from my treachery, and my claws luckily give me 1 to Mind Blast. Therefore I went to town with traps, maxing out Lightning Sentry, Death Sentry, and Fire Blast, with Shockweb nearly maxed as well. Fire Blast I'll be using to deal with lightning immunes. My damage with 1 Lightning Sentry is 1 to 3282, and with Fire Blast it's 1k to 1.3k. Mind Blast is an essential component of my arsenal now. Not only does it stun the enemy upon attack, but it also has a percentage chance to convert the enemy so that they fight for you. This is very helpful to get lightning immune monsters' attention away from you so that you can down them with Fire Blasts at first and then clean up with Death Sentry. With all these shiny new tools that I had, killing Andariel was a lot of fun. Remember, with everything being said and done, my assassin still has Lightning Sentry, which does crazy amounts of damage on its own. And that, added to Andariel's Kryptonite, well, not really because her fire resistance is max, but fire damage from both Fire Blast and Death Sentry, Andariel did go down pretty fast and easy. Claw Wiper Temple 2 was a giant mess. Even though snakes are not lightning immune, there were 2 elite packs of them in there. One with Mana Burn and the other with Fanaticism. It was a close call, but fortunately I was able to survive and escape to town. After which I returned and finished them off with Lightning Sentry. I had some super troll moments with beetles in Talvash's tomb, so I just decided to roll a map without them. My strategy for Duriel initially was to get him stuck again, but this Duriel was smarter than the other 2 actually, and he refused to give in. A little ways into the fight, when I had already cast Lure Resist on him and had let Lightning Sentry do a little bit of damage while I was trying to get him stuck, I checked on his HP and realized that his health was going down pretty fast, so I thought, why not? I gave up on trapping him and just killed him in the open. Lightning Sentry, OP. Serena's temple in Act 3 hell was super easy to clear. I ran into a Yeti boss pack at the entrance and used Mind Blast on them. After getting some conversions, I laid down lightning and death sentries to finish them off. As it turns out, poor Serena's group got caught in the collateral damage as well, and when I walked in, the room was absolutely clean. Alright, guess I'll just pick up this book here. Don't mind me. Mephista was a very fast and easy kill. You see, the thing is that the damage that I showed you in the beginning of Act 1 Hell was just the damage of one of the lightning sentries, whereas I can plant 5 at a time which fire automatically, periodically, and I also have lower resist at my disposal. So all that adds up and creates damage which is very high, which is why I am able to take out single targets with ease. Mephista was very kind to me and dropped me Magnus Skin, Shark Skin gloves, with 20 increased attack speed and 15 fire resistance. Considering that my res is looking pretty good anyways, sure, I'll take them. Thank you very much. Killing Mephista the crazy hammer guy was easy with my traps in, even though he had Might Aura on him. One thing that I learned during this experience was that pit lords might be a problem in the future, as they did not seem to go down easily with lightning damage. All that said and done, I got the foul rune from the Hellforge. Useless. Not surprised. And my fears held true. Infector and his group of bros refused to play nice and die easy to light damage. They were getting damaged, but not nearly at the rate that I had come to expect from other monsters. I tried teleporting, breaking their little group, mind blasting and taking them down one by one. Finally, when I had no option left, lower resist. See? There we go. There we go. That's what I'm used to. Awesome. Next up, killing the Scythe was so easy that he disappeared before I got to him. I just put down some traps and went in to say hello and, well, works, I guess. The Vizier pack was extra fast for some reason. Since these guys are immune to lightning, I cast lower resist on them and then laid down some lightning sentries. I also tried converting them using Mind Blast and then following with Fire Blast for extra damage. Here's how it went. And he goes down. Hell Diablo was a troll. Everything was going fine and according to plan, and then he did this. I have never seen him trap me like that before. He only does that when you make a town portal. What in the world was this about? I kept using lower resist charges here, thinking that I would teleport because of muscle memory. But since I did not have my teleport staff with me, I couldn't escape. Finally, I tried to set down lightning traps to destroy the cage, but it was too late by then. Yeah, good job, Diablo. You did it, buddy. What a tool. Fortunately, as I mentioned before, the teleport staff wasn't on me when I was killed. Therefore, I used that from the River of Flame waypoint to get back to him, so that I didn't have to clear CS again, and more importantly, I got to take revenge. Alright buddy, round 2. Bam! That's right. Who's trapped now, huh? Who died this time? Stupid lizard. I got lucky with the map the first go around and got no souls in the frozen river. Because of that, killing Frozenstein and his minions guarding Anya was super easy. Souls are not only incredibly annoying and lightning immune, but since this is Hell Act 5, you you could have guaranteed that they would have shreked my face really hard.
I need.
After that, I saved Anya and got another quest complete. Speaking of quests, the Ancients, more specifically, Hell Ancients. Even more specifically, Hell Ancients which are cursed that you should not face tag because this happens. Alright. Finally, I ended up settling for this role on the Ancients, which had this stupid fast Talic, and boy was he annoying. I mean, look at this. He's seriously moving so fast that you can't even see his legs. How is that even possible? Why is that even possible? Anyways, let me explain the Ancients role a bit. Basically, the things I looked to avoid were Ancients that could one-shot me, like Mydora or Cursed, and also making sure that neither of the guys have fire or lightning as a double immunity. If the second immunity is cold, that's fine because I don't deal any cold damage. My strategy for attack, as you can see, was unchanged for Talic and Corlic. I laid down lightning traps in the middle, cast lower resist, and tried to outrun the Bugatti Veyron. Unfortunately for me, Corlic was the first Ancient to die. The fact that Madoc was alive shielded Talic for a long time, since my lightning traps attacked both Ancients, so that I was doing effectively half the damage that I would like to Talic. It was a huge pain, super difficult to outrun, but in the end, Talic died, and it was time to take down Madoc. For him, I basically ran behind a pillar to the point where he can't deal throw damage to me. Next, I cast lower resist to cause extra damage and started throwing fire blast adjacent to where he was standing. The explosion of the fire blast hurt him and made his HP go down. Short, simple, and sweet. Hell Ancients are down. Only one question remained. Could I kill the Lister pack? My initial plan was to cast Mind Blast on them and get a conversion. Unfortunately, conversions just did not seem to occur on any of the minions, so I just tried to smork through. When even that did not work, I got more irritated and said screw it. I pulled them out, teleported in, and it was time for bail. Nobody likes dragons anyways. The Hellbale fight turned out to be a lot like the Nightmare one, and I guess it's time for the final thoughts on this character. It was fun, and much different than the Druid in the sense that you never had to actively cast a spell or attack. Mind Blast and Death Sentry were definitely my favorite parts of the whole build, and quite honestly, this just gets me a little more excited to play the Necro now that I know the satisfaction that is casting Corpse Explosion. But for now, thanks for watching if you sat through the whole thing, and if you have any requests or complaints, you can always let me know in the comments. Oh, by the way, look at these drops. GG. GG, son. God bless. See you in the next one. Yours truly, with love.